And welcome back to the Credit Authority. I am your host, Rhonda Klch. And again, we're always looking to bring in amazing, inspiring stories. Hopefully, they could shed some light and grab some attention to those people. And today is no different. I brought into studio today Deb Stone, the founder of Pop Earth. Not only is she an amazing mom, but she runs and has created an amazing not-for-profit that everybody should not only know about, but hopefully support by the time they're done listening to this interview. So Deb, thank you so much for getting into the studio.
Thank you for having us.
Your work is so inspiring. And I think it is fair to say that you have built a tremendous reputation for yourself as not just a fearless mom, but as a fearless person within the community that really wants to fight the rights for people in the autism community. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you founded Pop Earth and what it means to you.
So Pop Earth is definitely, thank you so much for all the kind words, but it's really a team effort. We've been around for 10 years now. This is our 10th year. So we have a lot of fearless moms and dads that work alongside of us and also support the organization throughout the years. We're very happy to announce that in September of this year, we're going to be opening our own space in Huntington Station, where you'll be able to have all of our programs that you're able to see online, all of our holistic health and wellness-based programs. But we're also introducing a new work initiative we're going to have a bunch of chefs coming in to train these individuals how to work in commercial kitchens.
That is amazing, especially, obviously the show is called The Credit Authority, and we generally touch on topics such as, income and money and budgeting.
Sure.
But I think there's a lack of education for the standard community for what that looks like for somebody like yourself that may have a functioning, high-functioning child in the autism space. But what does that look like financially, and how do they make themselves financially whole?
So I think this is definitely a broader question that probably my accountant Rich is better handled than me. But I will tell you that when I applied for Dylan to receive OPWDD services, it's a very long process. I'm still going through it now. And OPWDD is very instrumental in helping these kids develop a budget and be able to spend money on programs like ours,
okay.
Where they can either do something recreationally, do something health-based, or in this case, do something to train them for the workforce. Less than 10% of people with special needs are employed. So one of the big pushes is once their programs dry up, which happens at 21, unfortunately, they're always looking for things to do. And of course, they want to go out and they want to work and they want to be a part of society. And those jobs are not always available to them. So we're trying to work with restaurants and catering halls, things like that, to make those opportunities available for them and then also train them for what those jobs would look like. And we realized that it's a 3-step process because it's not just training them. It's also working with the other side and educating them on what they could expect. And then also having somebody in place there in the very beginning to help to supervise them and make sure that they get that work rhythm in before we leave them to fly on their own, so to speak.
Understood. Now, give me some examples of the reasons why you think employers are not looking at people with disability.
So I think a lot of the misconception out there is that it would be too difficult.
Okay.
And you have to look at it from both sides of the coin. Employers don't necessarily have the time to sit and train a person with special needs. In some cases, they require a little bit more assistance than a typical person. So we're taking the onus off of them for that. We're doing that for them. And we're giving them an individual that is familiar with what their kitchen looks like or what their space looks like. And with a little bit of help from us, we'll be able to function and do their jobs. as well as a typical person.
Now, you've mentioned I'll say the cooking arena,
Right.
right? So other than being employed in that space, what are some other occupations that a special needs adult, young adult may thrive in?
So I think they thrive in all areas. They're very much like we are. They have their strengths and their weaknesses. I mean, there are some of them that Microsoft will employ to do all their programming. I couldn't program my microwave. So, I mean, there are kids that can do that. And then there are kids that enjoy working at a car wash and doing the manual type of thing. So I think there's a really broad spectrum of what the talents are. It's a matter of taking the time to tap into what that strength is and helping that person find something that aligns with that.
Why do you think there's not a tremendous awareness to support this initiative for this youth, and aging out, I guess is what you're referring to,
right?
Aging out young adults.
So I think, much like my answer before with I think everybody thinks it's just additional steps that they don't want to be bothered with because they're running a business and, they might have a million other things going on. COVID kind of changed that for everybody because a lot of especially in the restaurant industry, I've been speaking to several different places and they're like, nobody wants to wash the dishes anymore. Nobody wants to bust the tables. And it's not to say that those people don't want to do those things, but maybe during COVID, they moved on to other areas.
Sure.
And they don't want to go back to doing that, which is fine. But now that leaves that space open. So somebody like one of our individuals might be interested in doing that because you know what? They like that repetitive, wash, dip, scrub, put on the side, bussing tables. Like, they know what their strengths are. Maybe they like prep. Maybe they like cutting up vegetables or peeling things, whatever that. So those are all things that are going to be open to them now that those spaces have been vacated by others.
So you're going to be training the people, within your community to do those activities. Now, tell me a little bit about the additional programs. I know you are much broader than talking about what's going on in the kitchen. So what other programs do you offer for special needs children in the autistic community?
So ironically, when we started, we were known as the yoga people because we developed a program for yoga geared towards people with autism and special needs. And that got picked up by like every major news center. So that was kind of the message that went out. Pop Earth does yoga. But we did add on so many more things. We added a dance program, which kind of featured more contemporary music that you would hear on the radio because that's what these guys are listening to. They're not necessarily just listening to Disney songs. So we kind of incorporated like current urban dance moves and they have a blast. And we also incorporated into our music program karaoke. And for a lot of people, a lot of parents said to me, you're putting karaoke in and my son doesn't speak. Well, I could tell you that my son doesn't have conversations either. He was just here. But if you put on a song that he knows, he'll sing along to it. And what we found is by doing karaoke, they were all excited to get up and get on the mic. They would start humming if they couldn't speak, or they would sing the words. So karaoke became very cathartic for everybody to be able to express themselves through music.
And I can see how excited you're getting. Like I'm watching your facial expressions, and you're like, "It was it's all it took. It was a little karaoke."
It was hysterical. It was some of the best times that we had with them. And when COVID happened, we had to shut that part off. So we're looking forward to welcoming everybody back into that one-on-one time with us,
which I love. Now, obviously, you rely tremendously on community support.
Yes.
What would happen if you didn't get it?
Well, we would have to close our doors, and that's not something that we've wanted to do. I have a great team, and during COVID, we all volunteered to give up our salaries and what we made. And we volunteered our time delivering food and meals to all of the group homes. Everybody was focused on the hospitals, but then you also have to realize that the people in the group homes, they have to take care of those kids because mom and dad can't come and visit them anymore. You know, the group homes were on complete lockdown for about 4 months there. So we took food there, care packages. We did streaming sessions that were free for all of our programs to come in and attend. And all of my staff volunteered to do that. So we definitely are committed to making sure that the programs run no matter what. But yes, not having any support would definitely force us to close our doors.
Well, we don't want to see that happen. So if you are listening today, visit popearth.org.
Yes.
Make a donation. Debbie and the rest of her crew will thank you. I know you have locations in 3 different states, right? New York, New Jersey, and Colorado?
Yes, that's correct.
It's not just about our local community. Autism strikes so many families. There's no way somebody can say that they don't know somebody that has been impacted by autism. So Debbie, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
Always amazing to see you.
Yes.
And stay tuned for our next guest.